Hello everyone, welcome back to Fight Age channel. Anthony Joshua makes shock pick for hardest punch he is being hit with. I will never forget it. Anthony Joshua was only accustomed to dishing out punishment rather than taking it for the first half of his pro campaign. In his 15th fight against Dillian Whyte for the British title, he was rocked but managed to turn the tide and stop his rival. 3 fights later would be defend his titles, where he suffered his first knockdown. The fight, Joshua has admitted, made him adopt a more cautious approach. A stoppage loss to Andrews Jr. in 2019 was the next time AJ was seriously hurt, and he took some sustained and accurate work against undisputed champ now in their double heater. Regardless, it was in the amateurs when he was hit the hardest. In the future of his immense health, Joshua looked back to the World Championships in 2011 when asked about the most pain he has felt in the ring. I remember a tough fight in 2011, the final of the World Championships, after a fighter from Azerbaijan. He had knocked out everyone to get to the final. We had a real tear-up. He was so strong, I was inexperienced, making silly mistakes, and I walked on to one of his punches. Force meeting the force. Boom! I'll never forget that punch. I lost by 1 point, so there was emotional pain and physical pain, Joshua said. Joe Rogan believes a tragic reality will hit Francis Ngannou upon a return in aftermath of Anthony Joshua's devastating KO. MMA fighters making a move to boxing in something that has happened in the past. One of the latest additions to the move is the former heavyweight champion of the UFC, Francis Ngannou. Ngannou surprised everyone with his move to boxing after failing to agree to a deal with the UFC. The Predator went toe-to-toe with Tyson Fury in his debut clash and impressed one and all with his skills. However, he faced a knockout loss against Anthony Joshua, which resulted in his second boxing career loss. What impact will the KO loss have on his career? 56-year-old Joe Rogan feels things might be slightly different for the former champion now. Joe Rogan shares his verdict on Francis Ngannou's boxing career. Joe Rogan recently invited Quinton "Rampage" Jackson on his show. During the episode, the pair discussed Ngannou and his future in boxing. The former heavyweight champion is, without a doubt, one of the most lethal strikers the sport has ever seen. However, his move to boxing has not quite turned out to be a success. Former light heavyweight champ Jackson is now concerned about his career in boxing and asked Rogan, "Do you think he will ever go back to boxing?" Rogan was quick to respond during the MMA show, saying, "Yeah, the 57-year-old pointed out that the 37-year-old made a sufficient amount of money since making a move to boxing. As a result, he might return to the sport but will be a different fighter after his loss. Because he made so much money, you know. But like after the Joshua fight, it's going to be different, right? After his debut fight, most fighters felt Ngannou might just be able to defeat AJ in his next fight. But things have taken a complete turn in the second round after he got knocked out. Joe Rogan pointed out the reason for his brutal loss. When Francis Ngannou made a move to boxing, most of the fans believed he would be dominated the sport. While his first fight ended in a lot of controversy, things were not so smooth in the second one. The Predator got knocked out in the second round, but Joe Rogan feels AJ had a slight advantage in the fight. While speaking in this podcast, he said, "The thing is, no one had seen Francis fight as a boxer, and no one knew what to expect. But then Anthony Joshua got to study the style and see the holes in his game, and he exploited it like a professional." According to this podcast, the former champion could become a heavyweight champion in boxing and said, if Francis had gotten into boxing when he got into the UFC, he would be the heavyweight champion of the world. Rogan has always been a fan of the former UFC heavyweight champion and his power, but it seems his switch to boxing is yet to pay any fruitful dividend. Ngannou is searching for his first victory and hopefully he can get in his next fight. Do you think he will make a return to boxing again after his devastating loss? Let us know in the comments below. Mike Tyson has given a bad opinion on how he would have fared if he had faced Anthony Joshua in his prime years. Tyson dominated the heavyweight division in the late 1980s, becoming undisputed champion of the world at the age of just 20, whilst Joshua first became 26 years old. Although Joshua is yet to match Iron Mike's status as undisputed, he has without doubt been one of the top heavyweights of his generation and could still go on to bolster his legacy. However, the Brooklyn native was of little doubt as to how a fight between him and AJ would have played out. I really like him, you know what he is. He is a real breath of fresh air. He is really clean. He had really clean right hand, really clean fighter. He is a good puncher. You just wish the best for him. I don't know, my ego says nobody would beat you, but you look at him and he just looks beautiful, Mike said. He just looks like a fighter, you know? He looks like he was born to do what he has to do. He needs more experience, of course, but that will come in life. Yes, listen, if you're asking me if I was 20 years old, then yes, there is no doubt. Joshua and Fury are really good fighters, and I respect all of their skills. It would have been very tough fighting them, Mike said. Anthony Joshua names the fighter who is in a league of his own. Everyone wants to be him. Having played a major part in guiding British boxing to new heights, Anthony Joshua remains one of the biggest superstars in the sport. After winning gold at the 2012 London Olympics, the hometown hero turned over to the pro ranks and won the British title in his 15th bout against Dillian Whyte. One fight later, he continued his perfect knockout streak against Charles Martin to win the IBF world title. Unifications put him one bell away from his goal of being undisputed, but a shock loss to challenger Andy Ruiz Jr. set that back a ways. Joshua would win the immediate rematch and defeated Kubrat Pulev next, but lost 200 pounds to undisputed champ now, the man who managed to achieve that 4-belt status this year. AJ has spoken at length about his heroes in the sport, the likes of Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali in the heavyweight division, but the small fighter with an undefeated record, he says, stands in a league of his own. In a future with men's health, the two-time heavyweight champ praised Floyd Mayweather as the person everyone in boxing wants to be. He then explained why. Undefeated. He has beaten so many world champions, unbreakable mindset, great talent matched with hard work, in a league of his own. Mayweather is now on the exhibition circuit after racking up 50 wins and 0 losses as a pro. The biggest box office star boxing has seen the 47-year-old challenge the game in many ways, with wins over Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto and Saul Canelo Alvarez, to name but a few. The American became a beacon many young fighters look towards. Although the focus on his undefeated record has, some say, made matchmaking in the sport a little less ambitious, Joshua returns to the ring on September 21st, challenging IBF champion Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium for the chance to become a 3-time heavyweight champ. Joshua and Dubois will meet in a clash for the IBF World Championship at Wembley Stadium. I think it will be a knockout. I think Dubois is going to bring the hat and put it on Joshua. That's what he knows, that's his way. He is an aggressive fighter, but he is calculating that aggression, Fisher said. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.